let's just sew whatever.
Hello everybody, today I am excited to show you how to cut out, this is one of my old patterns. This is the Alaine handbag, and I'm just reading this from that template shop a million years ago, and they spelled Alaine wrong. It says A-line, but it's all good. So we're making the Petite Alaine is what we call it. This is inspired from my wonderful friend Nikki, who didn't have enough of her materials when she was testing the pattern, so she cut it 2 inches shorter. And it was incredible and beautiful, and I loved it so much. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this out. I'm also doing this video because at the Wizardry retreat in May, we are going to be making the Petite Alaine instead of the full size. So I was like, well, let me also do a video on it. It could be fun. So for our main piece, the normal cut size is 10 by 13, 10 wide, 13 tall, so we're going to be cutting it to 10 by 11. I have a 13 by 13 ruler that I'm going to be using because this pattern piece is cut on the fold, and I don't really want to do that, so 10 by 11. And this is my pattern, so I am allowed to say the measurement, and I'm not going to get in trouble. Depending on what material you'd want a crossbody strap out of, be very mindful of how you're cutting it. So, 10 wide, 11 tall. And depending on the material you use, you're really not going to need any interfacing. So I'm using vinyl. It's a mid-weight vinyl, but it still really doesn't need to be interfaced. So we need a total of 2 of those because there is a front and a back to the bag. Right. So that is all that you need from your main panel piece. If you're using the fancy connector given, you'll want to kind of transfer these markings or just remember them later. If you're adding a front panel zippered pocket, you would want to cut one of your exterior main panels either at that line or a little bit lower, kind of split the difference. Really, it can be wherever. So that'll work. And then there is the V-shaped pocket, and we need to transfer that magnetic snap placement. So as I'm looking at this bag, we might need to cut maybe an inch off, or maybe 3/4 of an inch off the bottom of this V-shaped pocket, which would make the cut size for it to be like 8 1/4 by 10. But I'll go ahead and cut it to the same size it needs to be and then figure it out when I'm putting it together, just so it's less confusing. But that is all that we'll need of our main panel piece. So we can go ahead and just plop that on back in our Ziploc bag. And then we only need 1 of these V-shaped pocket pieces out of our exterior. So I'll line this up on the fold. And then our snap placement would be 1.75 down from that V-shaped pocket. but that's going to go on our lining, so we don't have to worry about it for a little bit. There's our front panel. So we're still going to need lining out of this, so I'm going to put this in my lining pile. We have the top of our zipper panel, and then additionally we'll need to cut, I believe there's a zipper. Oh no, that is the zipper panel, sorry. So 2 by 12, and we'll need 2 of these from the exterior. So 4 by 15. Okay. Dang. This ruler is not quite long enough. Four. And this is for a recessed zipper panel. Is it recessed? No. It just sits on the top, that's right. Could be recessed if you really wanted it to. And then while I'm cutting this, I'm just going to go ahead and mark out 1 inch from either side. And add some tape. Just saves me time later. And I like to just tape them at the same time. That way you can fold them at the same time, and it's just a bit of a time saver. Okay. Okay. So we're still going to need lining from this. Bottom panel is going to be our contrast vinyl. And then handles. So let's go ahead and talk about the different handle options there are. You could do a 3/4 inch handle or a 1 inch handle. Vinyl. So then if you're going to do a 3/4 inch simple handle connector, you're going to cut 1 1/4 by 4, or I'm sorry, 1 1/2 by 4 for your strap connectors, etc. So also optional is going to be a crossbody strap. I'm just going to go ahead and cut it now to be a 1 inch wide crossbody strap. My vinyl edge is a little uneven, so I'm going to line this up with my fold, cut it a little wider than 4 inches, and then trim off the excess. So I'll line up my clean cut edge. Line up 4 from that. And then while I'm here, I can mark down the center, that 2 inch line. Goodness gracious. And then I'm going to get some 3/4 inch wide double-sided tape just down the center. Okay, and then the last thing I want to cut out from my contrast vinyl here is going to be a zipper overlay for my lining. So I'm going to cut it to 2 by 10. And then I'm going to measure 3/4 of an inch from each end. Just doing the short ends at the moment, and then for the long ends, what I do is I'll measure 3/4 of an inch in, lay my ruler straight, and go from line to line with my rotary cutter. And you want to make sure you don't cut in too far. And then I'll just finish it with my scissors. Perfect. You could save that for a zipper pull if you want. I never do. And then again, to save time, when I'm at my machine, I'm just going to tape that at the top and the bottom. And it'll be ready to go later. Let's see. I don't think there's anything else I wanted to cut out of this vinyl. The rest of it is our lining and our contrast vinyl here. I'm going to go ahead and cut off this really ugly edge. All right, so just to kind of get a visual of what we need, we're going to need our straps / handles, our V-shaped pocket accent bottom panel, and a total of 4 side panels. So we need the corner cutouts on each one. And then our crossbody strap connectors and regular strap connectors. We're all going to make them, we're going to make all of them out of this. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my side panels. We're going to cut this to 5 by 11. And then I'm going to cut the corner cutouts in the end, because the piece is not it doesn't have the rotary cutouts, so it's not really a benefit to have to use the template piece. There's that. And then I've got to get my handles. I think I'm going to cut my handles to 20 inches instead of 28, because 28 is like a shoulder bag and 20 is like a little bit of a grab handle and arm crook. So these are going to be 4 inches by 20. Yeah. Especially with a crossbody strap, like I just think that'd be really good. So then I'm going to mark my center just like we did on the crossbody strap. And tape it. If you are not a fan of like the wider double-sided tape, you can also use like 1/4 inch wide on either side of the line. Go ahead and cut my other strap. All right, there is that. And now I have this section here that I can get all 8 of my connector pieces. So 16 is going to be 4 of them. 16 by 2. 1 and 2. And so the reason that I am cutting them all at once is so that taping them goes faster. I think I also want to kind of stitch down the center, or like a 3/8 inch contrast stitch. And it's just going to be so much faster if it's all one piece. So this is going to be our main strap connectors, and then we'll have a 2x8, that's crossbody strap connectors on the side of the bag. Okay, so we have our handles, crossbody strap. So I think we can put this away. I always like to clean up my space as I'm cutting and going through everything because it's just too overwhelming otherwise. So we're done with this piece. I can put that away. We can cut out our V-shaped pocket. This might be harder to use a rotary cutter with. You will see the raw edge on the bottom, but you will not see the edge on top. So I can trace that out. If I was going to trace this out, I should have already done it. On the wrong side. But I think I can carefully cut well enough. Probably not. So we'll trace it out on the wrong side and then I'll finish cutting. And then before we sew with it, I'll probably take my lighter to that bottom edge. So another prep thing that I can do is I could tape this down, but again, you'll have wanted to use your lighter on that piece already if you were going to. But I'll just clip this here so I can kind of keep track of, like, that's where that goes. We only needed the one V-shaped accent, so I'll go ahead and put that away. And we now have just our bottom panel left. We do need just the one vinyl. Our lining is made a different way. And this is going to be 5 by 13. And it does need stabilizer. Dang it. I was like, and lucky me, I did have my heat press going, but no, I did not. But it's on now. Okay, bottom panel. 12 by 14 for our stabilizer. No, 12 by 4. My God. It's the only stabilizer we're really going to need. Okay. So we can finish prepping the exterior. And this is 2.5 by 1/2 inch on the cutout. So you could use your pattern piece or you could use a little ruler. And you want to have 2 going in one direction and then 2 in the other direction. If you get them all traced out and you notice you have 2 not in the opposite direction, you've messed up. So if you have made my peekaboo pattern, this is very, very similar in the way it comes together. So I'm going to take one of these pieces and actually kind of get it prepped to put together. You want the cut ends to be facing the inside of the bag. And I'm just using tape because I don't have enough clips, but the tape will hold it very nicely. But for the other side, we cannot tape that together because we're going to be adding that V-shaped pocket. So just keep that in mind. So that is it for our side panel. So we have our lining, and that's all that we have left. Perfect. I'm going to be using waterproof canvas for the lining of my bag. I don't think we need this piece anymore, or this ruler. Down here, big enough for my pocket. And with that zipper pocket overlay, I'm putting the pocket together a little bit differently, but the pieces can still remain the same and it won't hurt anything. If you really wanted to, you could make one about 1/2 inch shorter so that you have less excess to cut off, but it's just easier to have the excess. So that is it for the pocket. We still have our zipper panel, V-shaped pocket, and lining. If you want to add like a slip pocket on the inside, you could cut 18 by 7 and fold the top end under. If you wanted it to be a cargo slip pocket, you would want to add 2 to 3 inches to that width, so it would be about 21 inches. I think this color is like vanilla from FWD Fabrics. Only need one of these. Put that away. Perfect little section right here to cut my top zipper panel. And then same as I did with the exterior, I'm going to mark out a 1 inch line from the edge on the wrong side. And I tape them together so that it's easier to fold. If you would rather not tape them together, you don't have to. Okay, so that's it for that piece. So I think all we have left is the main lining section. And so it would be totally up to you if you want to use a ruler, the pattern piece, or your template piece, but I'm going to go ahead and mark a 2 inch line at the top. Or honestly, I'm going to use this because it's the exact size I need. So I'm going to cut it on the fold at 9 and 13, basically. And then I'll be able to trace out my corner. Don't need any more tape. Okay. So 9 wide, 13 tall. And then the bottom corner, it's a 2.5 inch cutout. And if you want to save the waterproof canvas scraps to back your magnetic snaps, you can do that. And if you are a big fan of like center markings when you go to put the bag together, you can also cut those notches while we're there. All right, then we just have one more of those pieces to cut. That's it. You did it. So quick, right? Okay. So right now we only have one pocket planned for the interior of the bag, which I think is plenty. This bag isn't like massive. It's a good size, but I think one zipper pocket is plenty. Now we can kind of clean up, finish interfacing, and then I will meet you back here sometime to sew it together. So I'm heating up my stabilizer on my heat press to get the glue kind of started melting. Lay it on my vinyl, press that for a couple seconds. The extra pieces included, we have this really fun dual magnetic snap closure little overlay, if you'd want to use that. There's the exterior hidden pocket flap, if you want to hide the pocket. And then it's optional to add like purse feet on the bottom of the bag if you'd like to do that. This bag has a lot of really fun options, and it's kind of like a choose your own adventure, so read over it carefully, and I will see you later to make it. Bye!